Page 38.
Page 38, we're doing Shishi, the sixth aliyah of Parshat Baloscha. Pasuk Lamed Hey, verse 35. Moshe. It was whenever the ark traveled that Moshe would say, Kuma Hashem v'yafutzu ivecha. Stop, O Hashem, may your enemies be scattered, and may those who hate you flee from before you. So you'll notice there's an inverted nun at the beginning of this verse, and then at the end of the next verse will be another inverted nun.
Wow.
Showing this
Torah.
is, in a way,
in
the Torah as well. This is a separate parsha, these two verses, in a way, on some way of counting. Okay, what does it mean? Lamed Hey, Vahiben Soharon. It was whenever the ark traveled. The Holy One, blessed be He, made special marks, the inverted nuns, before this section after, indicating this is not its proper place. Why then is it written here? In order to break between one tragedy and another, as stated in the chapter in Shabbat and Gemara Talmud Shabbat 116a. What was the first tragedy? That they traveled from Mount Sinai. When they traveled, it says in the bottom, what's wrong with that? They had a certain diminishment in their commitment to God. That basically, as they started, I guess in Sinai was a very holy type of atmosphere. They start going on their travels. They're now craving more worldly things, which leads to next the craving of the meat, which they asked for inappropriately and all that. So we want to. So it says the reason that God stuck this parsha sort of in the middle, not even chronologically, is because I don't know if it's not chronological, but it's to two bad scenarios. We want to have a little pause,
break up the two.
Yeah.
Okay.
The way cool term the Talmud Yerushalmi, the Midrash says, when they left Mount Sinai, it's like a child running away from school.
Right.
They're tired of getting the Torah for a full year. Okay,
right.
So that's not a good thing. Okay. All right, anyways, go on. Rashi goes on.
Well, it wasn't just the enemies of God. It was among the Jewish people itself. Some of us flee from like you said.
I'm not sure.
What was his question?
I'm not sure if this is referring to this. Is kind to break up the two the two bad light stories of the Jewish people. This is kind of a commercial break.
We do this whenever we take out the Torah.
I don't know if it's referring
we
to
sing it.
I don't know if it was on the basic level. It's referring to the fifth column of the Jewish people. I think it's referring to the enemies outside the Jewish people on the simple level.
I agree. That's what I would think first.
Okay. Kuma Hashem continues. Stop, O Hashem. Because the ark, remember, we learned yesterday, the formation was that in the front went the ark of war with the broken tablets went in front of them. So because the ark preceded them, and then after that went the, I guess the cloud went after that. Maybe the cloud was in front of that. But then went the two camps. Then went the those transporting the Mishkan, and went the final two camps. So Moshe would say, when it was time to, when the cloud showed it's time to stop at this location, he blew the horn, but he also said this verse, "Stop, O Hashem," meaning, Moshe would say, "Amod v'hamtin lanu v'atzrachik yoter," that stop and wait for us, do not travel further, which means that Moshe saw the people could not manage the speed. Whatever. Okay. Okay, so there's different ways of reconciling it, but Rashi is something different before. But this time Moshe would say, don't go too fast. I mean, it's not telling God don't go too fast. It's a little disrespectful, but it's a sense of proclamation of what's about to happen. Is that the ark is going, the Jews are following, and the enemies that can't start up with the Jewish people. May your enemies be scattered. Hamichunasim, those who are amassed. That means if there's like the enemies who are in their home base. They're if you're passing by like an enemy country, they shouldn't have home court advantage. They should scatter. And may those who fate you flee. This is referring to the pursuers. Those let's say those that are nomads running after you or something. I don't know. Misanecha, which is those who hate you. So interesting, Rashi says those who hate you is really a euphemism or interchangeable with Seinei Yisrael, those who hate the Jews. This is a very powerful line in Rashi, because Rashi, as I marked, just there's many commentaries. Most of them are much longer than Rashi. Nachmani is a very lengthy commentary. Even the other ones are pretty medium. Rashi is pretty short, among the shortest in his comments. So someone once quipped, Rashi's the Twitter or the X of the commentaries, but he's much more than that. There's a lot in every Rashi. Mm-hmm. But anyways, Rashi's pointing out that Rashi's pointing out that those who hate God hate the Jewish people, because whoever hates the Jewish people, they're really hating the one who spoke in the world into existence. How do I know this? Because King David made reference to this. Umisanecha nasureish. Those who hate you have raised their head. And who are they? The verse in Tehillim continues. Al amcha yari musoi. Those who scheme against your people. I'm just looking at the note on the bottom. Whatever. Move on. Lamed Vav. Lamed Vav 36. Uvenucha Yomar. And when it came to rest, when it came to rest, he would say, Shuva Hashem Rivavois Alf Yisrael. Rest, rest Hashem among the tens of thousands of Israel. Rashi, Shuva Hashem, literally return Hashem, not rest, but the return. So we that's what Rashi sometimes references lexicographers before him. Menachem ben Saruk was a predecessor to Rashi of translating Hebrew, and he translates the word Shuva in this case of rest, Margoa. Relax. We see precedent in the Tanakh and Yeshaya, B'shuva v'nachas tiva sheyun. In rest and in tranquility shall you be saved. Rashi, headline, Rivavos Alpha Yisrael, among the tens of thousands of Israel. This tells us that the divine presence does not rest in a certain, manifestation unless there's 22,000, because plural Rivavos is myriads. So 10,000 is myriad. So 2 myriads is 20,000, and 2,000 is 2,000. So 22,000.
Talking about the Shekhinah?
The Shekhinah won't. Moshe is saying a statement: rest amongst the minimum 22,000 Jews. So why is it important for us to know? I don't know, but we have faith that it is important to know. Okay, so let's see. I just want to see the way in the Kahas Chumash, the way they frame this. Okay, so we have here what Rashi would the way we understand it is when they would start going out, at a certain point when the middle is kind of going with the arc, Moshe would say, "Stop, O Hashem," meaning don't go too fast. And when the cloud came to rest, meaning they are stopping, he would say this other thing, Shuva Hashem, the other verse of 36. Okay.
Where do you see don't go too fast?
I'm looking in the bottom in the note. You can see there's a big discussion on page 39, footnote 113. So you can look up them more. There's a lot of discussion. Because if they're going, why is he saying stop? If they're starting, why is he saying stop? So that's the way they understand it. Okay.
Yeah.
Perik Yudalef, chapter 11, verse 1, Aleph. The people then sought a pretext to complain, which was evil for Hashem to hear. And Hashem heard this and became angry. And Hashem's fire blazed among them, and consumed those at the extremity of the camp. Hashem heard, got angry, whatever that means, and his anger, the fire blazed them at the extremity of the camp. What does that mean? So here we're talking. Let's see Rashi, and we'll put it together after. It says, Rashi brings down the verse headline. The people sought a pretext to complain. Ha'am, the nation. There's many ways to refer to the Jewish people. Usually Bnei Yisrael. So why say Ha'am? It's referring to a segment of the Jewish people, the wicked people. So do we find in this precedent in Shemais, in Exodus, Ma esel am hazeh. The point is, you bring a bunch of precedents where nation is used when they're acting badly, like bad little school children. But the reason Rashi's bringing this is to explain the context. And not every single one of the 2 million plus Jews complained. Some of them complained. Okay. Kimesainonim. Mesainonim is an unusual word, so Rashi will many times help us understand unusual words. Ein mesainim ela l'shen alila. It means those seeking a pretext. They are seeking a pretext how to separate themselves from following Hashem.
Boy.
So too, if by Shimshon, we see the term when he was plotting against the Philistines, he was seeking a pretext against the Plishtim. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Next. Rabbi Oznei Hashem, he was evil for Hashem to hear. Toana Shira Oznei Hashem, a pretext as evil for the ears of Hashem. Shemiskavim Shetavi Be'oznav Ayaknit. What was the evil pretext? They wanted to provoke God. What did they say? They said basically hurtful, offensive words to God about the situation. Oy lanu, woe to us. How weary we are. We're so tired from this 3-day journey. We have not rested from the hardships of the way. As you said earlier, God was pushing a journey that would take in 3 days, took them 1 day, whatever. The point is, it was they were moving very fast. So God's trying to get them to go to Israel quickly. Hashem became angry. Why is Hashem angry? I meant it for your good that you should enter the land immediately. God was pushing them to enter quickly. So a fire broke out in punishment, consequently, in the extremities of the camp. Those among them who were extreme. So what the extremities, what do I mean? Like everybody around the periphery? So Rashi explains the extremity means those who were extremely crude, the really bad guys, the really ungrateful ones.
What?
Like the worst on the spectrum. Yeah. Who were they? They were the mixed multitude. Rabbi Shimon ben Manasseh, a rabbi of the Talmud, said, on the contrary, refers to the most prominent and greatest among them. The the elders of some of the leaders of the Jewish people were punished. Some say it's the leaders of the mixed multitude, the rabble rousers, the union leaders, but whatever the case is, some people, whether it's the Egyptian converts called the Erev Rav, the mixed multitude, or it was some of the leaders, or both. Anyways, base. Moshe then cried out to Hashem. Hashem cried out to Moshe. I'm sorry, the people cried out to Moshe. What's going to happen? Moshe prayed to God, Vatishka Ish, and the fire subsided. Rashi. Moshe. Basically, it's like a parable where the king got angry against the crown prince. So the son went to his father's best friend to intercede with the king. That's the parable, why they went to Moshe. Window. The fire sank. What does it mean subsided? It sank right into the ground. Because if the fire would have gone to the right, left, east, west, it would have burned some other people. So it foofed into the ground, Okay. Continuing, page 42. Tavera. Moshe called that place Tavera, blaze. Kivar Avam Ish Hashem, for Hashem's fire had blazed among them. Gimel. No Gimel. Rashi, it's the next verse, Daled 4. Now the masses are among the people developed a craving. And again they wept. Gam b'nei Yisrael, and with them some of the mainstream children of Israel were crying and lamenting, kvetching. And they said, who will give us meat to eat? Dalid, Vasafsuf. Asafsuf is another name, means the masses. Also known as the Erev Rav, in English, the mixed multitude of Egyptian converts. Or Shinesra, Mitzrayim, who were gathered to them when they left Egypt. By Yeshuvu. And again, Gam b'nei Yisrael v'yivku imam. All the children of Israel wept with them. So they did a good campaign. Other people started joining in their kvetching.
Right.
Who'll give us meat to eat? Wait a second. They didn't have meat? We know it says in Shemais, all the people went out with sheep coats. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they got lots of livestock. Why don't they just slaughter it? If you're going to say maybe by 1 year they ate them all, they ate all the livestock. But we know later on when they enter Israel, it says B'nai Reuven, B'nai Gad had a lot of livestock. So there's plenty of livestock. So why did they kvetch? Rather, they were just looking for a pretext. It was a excuse.
So what was the excuse?
They were basically afraid. They're afraid of this new, there's a podcast on Chabad.org that was started this year. I haven't listened. My wife likes it, so she told me this week it's a 7-minute Parsha podcast on Chabad.org by Bela Oladort. And she speaks about how, it's very common on the cusp of success, people are afraid of that and then they mess it up. Mm-hmm. Because success means responsibility. Mm-hmm. So it's not uncommon, even in our, in our lives, in our world, to see people who work for a goal for 20 years and they're on the cusp of success and then they blow it up. Mm-hmm. Because when they arrive, they don't know what to do with it. It's too scary. It's one thing to try to have an aspiration. It's one thing to shepherd that responsibility once it's there. So that's an interesting way of looking at it. Mm-hmm. Hey, Zacharnu es Hadago. We remember, they continue in their diatribe. Is that the right word? Mm-hmm. their diatribe against God's goodness. Zacharnos hadaga. We remember the fish. Asher noichal b'mitzrayim chinam, that we eat in Egypt free on food stamps or something, Eis hakishuyim, the cucumbers. Eis havatichim, the melons. Ves hachatzir, the leeks. Ves hatzalm, the onions. Ves hashumim, and the garlic. They started reminiscing
What they didn't have.
what they didn't have, what they allegedly had and no longer had. Let's see Rashi. Wait a second. They were slaves in Egypt, says Rashi. If you're going to say they gave them free fish, they were slaves. They gave them nothing. They gave them barely anything, basic subsistence. The Tevelin Islam, they didn't give them straw at the end. They gave them salmon fillet. Like, what are you kidding me? They wouldn't give them straw.
Even broiled. They broiled it for them.
They wouldn't give them straw for free. They'd give them fish.
Broiled fish.
Broiled fish. Okay. Right. Okay. Anyways, so what does it mean by free? It means we are free from the mitzvahs. Meaning, so I guess we were able pre-Torah to have any food we wanted without any obligation to it, with no laws, no kosher laws. It sounds, yeah. It sounds like that. So it says they didn't get fish for free. They ate fish freely, without kosher laws. And now, with every food we eat, we have laws about it. So that's what they're reminiscing about. Esa kishuyim, we ate freely. We ate cucumbers. We missed it. So fish represents that whatever they had there's no kosher. Okay. Now, why are they mentioning these other 6 things? So Rashi says, Rabbi Shimon said, why the taste? So what they live on then? They had manna, the man. Now the man we know could taste like anything you wanted, except these things. So they're missing. They're not complaining we don't have cucumbers. We don't get to taste cucumbers. Why can't they taste cucumbers, garlic, leeks, melons, and garlic? Because apparently these things are harmful to nursing women. A nursing woman is told, do not eat garlic and onion for the sake of your baby. They're pungent. It makes the milk not good or something. I don't know today how it works, but that's why they were lacking it. So God was taking away, let's say, pungent things. I'm not sure what watermelon and cucumbers is, but leeks, onions, and garlic are somewhat pungent. You can understand that. The point is, God was trying to help them that the women shouldn't harm the babies through having this food.
Wow.
And they just wanted to find ways to complain. They're complaining about what they don't have. Hakishuyim. It's like God's not letting us have junk food. Or I wish I could have pork rinds. Like it's for your good. Don't worry.
How do you know about pork rinds?
I know what they are. I never tasted them.
Are you sure?
I mean, to me, it sounds like the epitome of junk tray food. But
fish, cucumbers, melons, I think these might be the Levites who are fetching.
I'm not sure. Let's move on. I'm not sure. Kishuyim just translates Rashi is also a lexicographer, if I'm pronouncing that right. Cucumbers is cucumberish in Old French. That was Rashi's language. Avatichim is melons, is boudicos in French. Chatzir is porels. That is leek. Okay, Vav. V'atan avshenu yevesha in ko. They finished their diatribe, but now our souls are dry. Our appetite is dulled. There's nothing. We got nothing. Bilti el haman einenu. All we see is man, the manna. El haman einenu. So what in Rashi says, what do you complain? The man's a gift. It's like heaven. It's like
Heaven food.
heavenly DoorDash food to your door, and you're
Okay.
complaining. But they find a way to frame it negatively. Too much. In the morning we got man. In the evening it's too much.
This is the Asaf Suf that's doing all these complaints. So they
Mainly
may have
the
had.
stuff with some. They got some Jews as well. It says in the verse. The Dalit says they got others to complain as well. Not everybody, but some.
So
Okay.
why if this is the Asaf Suf, it has to be more or less than 10% of the people.
Yeah.
So why are we giving them so much attention? I'm serious.
I don't know.
I mean, the Torah gives them a lot of.
Korach was a smaller amount. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like a lot
It's
of
enough to give us a lot of problems.
yeah.
Get
Yeah.
a lesson too.
All Jews
Why did we-
call Yisrael Revim Zelazeh, and when there's this mutiny or whatever you want to call it, it has an effect even for those that are not guilty. So I don't know, but let's just take it at face value. Move on. Zion Va'amon Kizra Gadu. Now the Torah describes the best of its ability to us to explain what the manna looked like. It was shaped like coriander seed, I think circular. The Einoi Ke'ein Habadolach, but it didn't have the lightish brown. I think coriander is like brown. It wasn't the color of coriander. Its color was the appearance like crystal. I'm thinking translucent. Clear. Mi Amrzeh Amrzeh Yisrael. So now Rashi points out this is not continuing the diatribe. This is a positive thing.
Yay.
We're saying how it looked. Before the previous verse says, "Bilti el Haman inenu." All we see is manna, and Hashem is writing in the Torah, "Haman kizra gad gemer." Hashem is writing in the Torah. The man was like coriander seed, meaning the narrator, the unspoken narrator of the Torah, is saying it wasn't bad. This is what it was. See how ungrateful these people are. The man is this beautiful stuff, or healthy, beautiful stuff. Kizra gad.
Perfect.
Gizra gad, it was round like coriander seed. Coriander, the roundness. Habadolach is Shem Eben Tova. It's a name of a precious stone, crystal. Okay? Which is some type of clear color. Ches. Shatu am v'loktu v'tachnu v'richayim. The people strolled about the man, how good it was. The Torah, the narrator is saying how the people would stroll about, collect it, and grind in their hand mills, or pound it in a mortar, and cook it in a pot. Also, or bake it into cakes. It was a very versatile food.
Nice.
And its taste was like the taste of oil-saturated dough. Shatu. Shatu is a term denoting strolling about. It's baner in Old French, without exertion. They ground with millstones. It never went into a millstone, a pot, or a mortar, but rather it tasted like. So Rashi actually points out, brings a medrash, I guess. They didn't actually, it wasn't some type of buckwheat or something, or quinoa. It was, they actually didn't do any of this stuff, but it changed at will to the texture you wanted, ground, pounded, or cooked.
Wow.
Parur in a pot. Parur means a kedera, a pot. The taste, what's the taste? The taste is like oil saturated. L'chluach shel shemen. That's the way another lexicographer, Rashi, quotes dunash. Similar, we see in Tillim the term moisture is l'shadi. Nepech l'shadi b'charavoni kayitz. The lamed of the lamed is just like the lamed there. L'shad is actually not. Usually a lamed is a prefix. It's not part of the root word. Here it's actually part of the root word. But the rabbis in another book in the Sifri, they translate it as shadayim, like breasts, because God's kind of breastfeeding them, nursing them by giving them the man. I'm not sure. Yeah, right. meaning that just like milk is everything, mother's milk is everything to the baby, the manna was everything to the Jewish people. Would taste whatever you wanted.
Wow.
But he doesn't like that because Rashi doesn't like that because there's no. And what's oil? If it's lashav, if it's like mother's milk, then why is it oil also? So he doesn't like that as much. It's impossible to say lashad shaman means fat. So maybe you could say it's because shemen in Hebrew means oil. Shamein means fat. So maybe it's like it was like rich mother's milk to them.
Mm-hmm.
He says you can't say that because then the vowels don't work out. And Rashi's a grammarian. We just listen to him and we take his word for it. The mem would be punctuated with a kamatz katan, would have a tzere, and the stress would be in the latter part of the word, under the mem. Hashamein. But now
Hashamen.
shamen is shamena. Well, it's saying the mem would have a tzere, which mem could be a or a, depends which.
Well, it looks like a segol to me.
That's the way it is here, and that's what Rashi's saying. It's not. It can't mean fat because fat is with not a segol. It'll be with a tzere. That's exactly the point. Let's just continue on. The mem now has a segol, and the stress is on the shin, shemen. That is oil. Or it's a whatever. Okay. Another explanation of lashad is an acrostic of layish. Layish, lamed, shin, dalid is layish means kneaded, dough, shemen with oil, dvash, smeared with honey. Like dough kneaded with oil and smeared with honey. Onkelos translates it as kneaded with oil. He inclines towards Dunash, the interpreter that Rashi didn't like so much, for dough kneaded with oil has the moisture of oil. So you have a bunch of array of what it takes. We don't have clarity exactly. Rashi likes the one that its particular taste, I guess its default taste, was oil saturated dough. All right, whatever. Yud Vayish Moshe Sambayich Mishpachisav. I'm sorry, Tess 9. When the dew would fall over the camp at night, the man would fall on it. Rashi, no Rashi. Yud, next verse 10. Vayish Moshe Moshe, the people weeping in family groups. Isha Pesach. So now back to the complaining. Moshe, them weeping by their families. Every man at the entrance of his tent. Hashem was very angry at this, and Moshe also regarded this ungrateful bicker, complaining as evil. Rashi, groups of families gathered and wept to publicize their discontent. So the spin doctors, the publicists want to make a big show of how scared and angry and complaining and how scared and vulnerable. He made the people were like families are complaining. So it's more, I guess. No, I'm making that up. I'm gonna be wrong. Groups of families gathered. So it's like. Woe to us, men, women, and children. But the rabbis actually say "lemishvachesa" means another. They actually have. There's another thing there. There's implicit. Again, the oral Torah unpacks a lot of the implicit, inferences or allusions. It says they're actually complaining for another thing. So they're complaining about the lack of good food that they wanted, and they did that in family groups to make it more pitiful. Or Rashi quotes the rabbis in the Sifri and the rabbis of the Talmud and the Midrash say they were complaining about family life. What? They were complaining that they now cannot marry relatives who previously they were allowed to marry. there's certain relatives who are permitted in the Noahide laws, but are forbidden by the Torah. I can't think of them offhand. So it turned out, and it was very normal. We call it incest, but let's say, for example, an aunt to a nephew. Is that incest? I mean, maybe in the modern term. The point is, it was, let's say something like that was somewhat normal. But once that became forbidden, a lot of divorces had to happen after Mount Sinai. So they were upset about that. And that led them to further complain to the lack of good food that they wanted. They allegedly wanted. Moshe to Hashem, why have you made things bad for your servant? And why do you not regard me favorably in your eyes? That you place the burden of this entire people on me. Moshe's complaining that, like, how do I deal with such a difficult people? Moshe continues of his upsetness. Did I father this entire people or give birth to them? That you should tell me, I should carry them in my you should tell me to carry them in your bosom, in my bosom, like a nurse carries an infant, like a nursing mother carries an infant. And I'm going to have to carry them in the land that you promised their forefathers. This is Rashi. Rashi, you will tell me. Basically, am I their mother that I have to baby them, be their babysitter? That you tell me in the term here that you tell me to carry them in your bosom. Where did God tell him to have such? This gives us an insight, by the way. I should point out. Moshe could say Moshe's not like waxing, dramatic. He's not being melodramatic. Everything is deliberate. Everything is very measured language. So you can see that Moshe he's not like saying, I never signed up for this. Hashem did tell him this is what his leadership would be like. But now it's really hard. So Moshe's like, how is this going to work? I'm not their mother. Where did Hashem tell them this will be the leadership, this level of involvement? We see this in Shemais 32-34, where Hashem said, go lead the people. And it says also there, he commanded them regarding the children of Israel, meaning it doesn't say clearly, but those extra verses are alluding that you have to lead them even when they are stoning you and insulting you. They're when they're being totally ungrateful.
Wow.
Carry them in your bosom, in my bosom, to the land of Israel. You tell me to carry them. Rashi's connecting the last word to. It's kind of sometimes in the Hebrew it's out of order to us, but like the land. Am I their mother? Am I? Did I birth them? Did I have to carry them like a baby to the land of Israel?
Very figurative.
Very figurative, yeah. But I think it's figurative, but it's also, I think there is some level of truth to it. Like Moshe did, the level of involvement with Moshe is not the way we think of kings or leaders. He's a very, very involved, definitely not like prophet leaders. You don't think of them like they're like taking care of their food stamps, or their type of food, like. You have a team. You have a whole, food team. Moshe is very, on some level, involved in everything. Okay. Yud Gimel. Where do I have enough meat to give this entire people? For their weeping to me. Give us meat so we can eat it. Yud Gimel. Yudalim. Next verse. I'm unable to bear the burden of this entire people by myself, for they are too burdensome for me. They're too heavy for me. Rashi. So Tesvav, we continue. Verse 15. If you indeed do this to me, I'm sorry. If you do this to me, that I have to carry them like this. So what's really going interesting? So what? So Rashi says, Moshe strength weakened like that of a woman. No disrespect to the women out there. I guess just, when Hashem showed him the punishment that they were going to get for this. So this is from the oral Torah, but it's saying Moshe is actually changing tunes. He's frustrated because how could he lead these people? It's too much for one person. However, God says, you're right. I'm going to punish them. Moshe is like, whoa. I don't want to get them punished. He got frightened because he feels for them. And he says, if you're going to punish them, I'm not expressing my frustration that you should then punish them. I'm expressing my frustration to figure out some sort of solution for moving forward. If you're going to punish them, kill me first. Hargeni tchila.
That's pretty sassy.
Okay. Kill me so I don't see. If you do this to me, Hargeni nahareg, kill me now. If I find favor in your eyes, I shouldn't see in my misfortune. So it's funny. The literal verse sounds like Moshe is just like ending off his complaint of like, kill me now, as we say, as the joke, right? You're going to do this, kill me now. According to Rashi, he's actually saying if you're going to hurt them, then that's not my point, and then I want to be, then punish me first. So
it's not translated right here because it says Hargeni not, please, right. And they don't have the please in there. He's begging. He's begging God.
Yeah,
and that's lost. Somebody lost it in the translation.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll let everybody see so that I do not see my misfortune. It really means their misfortune, but the verse is modifying it. This is one, by the way. We see in Torah sometimes. The Torah will sometimes write something in a stylistic way, similar to writers. They won't be literal, but they'll write in a stylistic way to improve the phraseology. Okay, 16. Gather me 70 men from the elders of Israel, Asher Yadaita Kim Zigni that you recognize being the people's elders and its overseers, and take them to the tent of meeting, and they shall stand together with you. So what's going on here? As he gathered from me, this is the answer to your complaint that you said. I'm unable to bear by myself. And where were the original elders? So you see you can't bear some Hashem. Okay, I'll get you some help. Deputies. The original elders, where were they? Like there was elders from Egypt that Aaron had to go, right? Even in Egypt, there were elders that Moshe and Aaron had to go present to. So this says they were the ones killed. This goes back to earlier. The Kitzinim, the leaders were killed by the complaining of being tired of the journey. Who was punished? The leaders. Why? It wasn't only because of that some of their constituents complained. It was really because they deserved to die by Mount Sinai. What happened? It says, "Vayeshalim," they gazed lightheadedly at God, the way someone munches bread while speaking in the presence of the king. It says
Where
the
are you
elders,
reading? Where are you reading?
Rashi on page 48. The elders then, they ate and drank. There was a certain lack of reverence they had by Mount Sinai, and that they already deserved the death penalty then. But God didn't want to mar the joyous celebration of the giving of the Torah, so Hashem waited till there was a slight opening to punish them, and they were punished then. If you want to know more, the Uzdain edition, the Kahat Chumash, says, whatever.
There's a debate about whether God encouraged them to eat in front of him or whether he didn't. I mean, Rashi is on the negative side.
He's on the negative side, yeah.
But there's also a positive side that's by other reputable commentators.
Right. And we're doing Rashi because we're doing his way of understanding the basic narrative. Okay, but yes, there are other opinions out there. Okay. When you recognize as being, so who do you replace? Basically, there's this vacuum of leadership. So who you replacing them with? Replace them with those who were the foremen over the slaves in Egypt. Because we saw the Jewish foremen, had pity on their charges, and they actually took beatings when the workload wasn't finished. They took the heat.
Wow.
So they get the ones to be appointed in their greatness. The same way they suffered, leadership meant they were willing to suffer for their charges. So now they get appointed. Some you shall take them. Take them with words. Praised are you that you have been appointed as leaders of the sons of Hashem. So take them doesn't mean like pull them by their ear. It means persuade them with, it's hard, but it's an important role to be a leader of God's children. V'syasu sham imach. They shall stand there together with you. In order that Israel shall see and treat them with eminence and respect and say, these are cherished that they enter together with Moshe to hear a speech directly from the mouth of the Holy One, blessed be he. Basically, the way they're appointed is by going to the tent of meeting with Moshe when God does communication to Moshe. So it's they get to be with Moshe. They must be important. I don't know if they heard it, but they're just standing with you at this, the divine communication. Yeah. Okay. Yud Zayin. How much longer we got to go? It's a long Chumash today. Anybody has to leave? You have the teacher's permission, but you're welcome to stay with us. Zayin.
About 8 more pages.
I will then descend and speak with you there. And I will designate greatness from the spirit of prophecy that's upon you. By placing it on them, I'll give them a little bit of your spirit of prophecy. And they will then bear the burden of the people together with you. You will not have to bear it yourself. So Moshe, in this, more about Moshe's first dealings with the Jews complaining, he said, I can't do it myself. So, okay, I'll get you deputies. Rashi, Yud Zayin. This is one of the 10 expressions of descent written in the Torah. I will speak to you, but not with them. But Salti, I will designate greatness, means Rabbi. That's the Bnei Yisrael. By placing upon them. To what was Moshe compared at that time? To a lamp placed upon a candlestick. Everyone kindles or lights for him, but its own light is not diminished anyway. So it's not like he had to lose any prophecy. He's just sharing it. Okay. V'nasu itcha, they shall bear the burden with you. Hasne aimayim, stipulate with them that their position is on condition they are accept upon themselves the burden of my children who are troublesome and complaining. You will not have to bear by yourself. This is a response to that which you have said, I am unable to bear it myself. So what was it for? Yeah, okay. Yudches. Ve'lam Tomar, and the people. Now that's for that. That's for your one issue is you don't have help. Here's your help. Ve'lam Tomar hiskach l'mach v'achaltem basar. The people you should say, prepare yourselves for tomorrow, and you'll eat meat. Ki v'chisem ba'aznei Hashem lemar. For you've cried for Hashem to hear, saying, Mi'achilenu basar ki telim Mitzrayim. Who will feed us meat? It was better for us in Egypt. Ki telim Mitzrayim. Hashem will indeed give you meat, you'll eat it. Rashi. Hiskadshu means prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for punishment. We see hakdishem, prepare means coming for consequence. Yotes, lo yom echad teich lo yemayim. Not for one day will you eat it. Not for 2 days. Not for 5 days. Sorry, not for 10 days. Not for 20 days. But for a full month you eat this meat. It will come out of your nose and become repulsive to you. Because you rejected Hashem who's amongst you. And you wept before him saying, why is it we have to leave Egypt? So their reward and their punishment is the same thing. You want it? Here you get it for 30 days.
Rabbi,
This is referring to the ones who were relatively virtuous.
Virtuous.
That they would basically languish on their beds and only afterwards their soul departs. So the complainers were different levels. Those were like slight complainers, and there was really obnoxious complainers. The slight complainers, they died when they ate this meat after a full month. But the wicked, it says, the meat was in their mouth and they died right away. That says in the Sifri. But in the Chilta, it's the opposite. That the wicked will suffer for 30 days, but the righteous will die right away because they don't want to have prolonged agony. Until it comes out of your noses, which means it becomes it becomes expression of disgust. It'll seem to you that you ate too much of this, way more than you want, and it becomes this, like you're stuffed with it, it's coming out of your nose, as we say in colloquial English. It becomes repulsive to you. You will reject it to a greater extent than you originally desired it. In the words of Moshe Darshan, I've seen there's a language that calls the sword Zara. As Hashem is among you. If I not implanted my divine spirit among you, you would not become arrogant to enter into all these matters. Meaning, I'm coming amongst you, and now you're being, and now you feel so comfortable, you kvetch Hashem like he's your friend. Moshe then said, 600,000 adult men on foot, that I'm amongst them. And you say, I'll give them meat and eat for a full month. Rashi says he didn't mean, it's really 603,000, but you don't want to say that. The detail he took out. And Moshe Darshan says, only those who were adults when they came out of Egypt wept. And that's 600,000 who left exactly. So the 3,000 newbies didn't complain. Chav Beis. Now we have 4 more pages to go. Chav Beis. If sheep and cattle be slaughtered for them, would it be enough for them? It's called Gayama. Even all the fish in the sea would be gathered for them, would it be enough for them? Rashi. The sheep and cow be slaughtered. This is one of the 4 verses that Rabbi Akiva expounds, and Rabbi Shimon does not expound like him. Rabbi Akiva said 600,000 men on foot. And you want to say, I'll give them meat for a full month. If sheep and cattle, I mean, you need way too much meat, I guess. Would it be enough for them? Now, wait a second. Like, why is Moshe when Moshe's doubting that God could bring meat?
Moshe's complaining that he doesn't even think they know what they're talking about. They're just catching to be catching.
The way it's translated is, if a flock and a herd were slaughtered for them, would it be enough for them? Meaning, we don't have enough meat for them. Like, what are you going to bring, a cattle? Like, it's not. It seems like it's endless. So Moshe is being of little faith, it seems like. Now, the truth is, Moshe's doubting God's ability here, it seems like, from Rashi. Now, does he get punished from this? Not really. Later on, when he hits the rock, which is much lesser. But what was Moshe's mistake by the rock? He didn't glorify by speaking to it. He hit it. He never doubted God there, and he gets major punishment there. Here he doesn't get punished. He's doubting God. The difference is that here was in private. So therefore, Hashem, the Torah protects him, does not punish. But when he got angry and hit the rock, that was a public mistake. So the Torah doesn't protect him. The Torah doesn't, focus on him because he's doing it in private. And Shimon says different. God forbid to think that Moshe would doubt God's ability. Moshe is called B'chol Beisin Amanu. He's the most dedicated in the house of Israel to God. What was he saying? He would say, God do it. This is what he's saying. 600,000 people. You say I should give them meat for a month. And then you're going to kill the whole nation? Should sheep and cow be slaughtered for them, that they should be killed? And this eating satisfy them for all time? Because they'll be dead? That's your praise? Do we tell a donkey, take this core of barley, eat this, food, and then we're going to chop your head off? So Shem answered him, but if I do not give it to them, then I'm unable to supply them with such an amount of livestock. And they're going to look at me as inadequate. So let them 100 like them be annihilated, but let not my hand be considered inadequate before them even a short time. I'm not sure exactly how this flows. They avoided there. It's almost like whoever eats it and was complaining dies. Moshe is trying to avoid that. Like you're going to give them food and then kill them with the food. That's not. It's like that's not like a. They're not asking for food to die by. They're giving food to like enjoy and live. So what's Hashem's answer? I'm not really getting it.
I don't think the people are sincere. I don't think we were sincere. It's not. It's like Moshe could have given us everything we asked for, and we would have still found something to kvetch about.
As we did, but yes. My question here is, what's Hashem's answer to him according to Rashi? Like, I have to give it to them to prove that I'm, all powerful, and if they have to die, so be it. But let's see. I don't know. Is Hashem's power limited? Now you'll see if what I said will happen to you or not. Rashi, you'll see what I said will be. You'll see what will happen or not. Rabbi Gamliel Yehuda said, Moshe was saying, it's impossible to accept a quarrelsome argument since the people are just looking for a pretext and nothing will, as you said, nothing will suffice them. They'll complain about something else. In the end, they will have to argue with you. If you give them meat of large animals, they'll say, we wanted small animals. We wanted sheep. If you give them sheep, they wanted cat, we wanted beef. We wanted wine, we wanted different. Whatever you give them the menu, they're going to say, we want a different thing. We wanted fish and locusts. So Hashem says, if I don't give them meat, then they'll say, I can't do anything. I can't even give them something. So Moshe said, I'm going to try and appease them. So Hashem says, you'll see what I still happen, and they will not listen to you. Moshe went to appease them to try to make them stop complaining. And he says, Hashem's power, Moshe said this thing, is Hashem's power limited? Did he not hit the rock and water flowed out? Surely he can provide us bread. People, though, did not compromise. They said, this is a compromise. God, you're just stalling for time, Moshe. He doesn't have the power to fulfill a request.
Boy.
This is what it says. Moshe went out and told the people, since they did not listen to him, and they gathered 70 men. Okay. So there's different ways to understand it. Chavdalid, last two pages and a half. Or 3 pages, whatever. Moshe went out and spoke to the people, the words of God. Yes, Hashem Ishkim and Hashem he then gathered 70 men of the elders of the people, and stood them around the tent of meeting.
How many did he take from each tribe? So one tribe had to get slighted. One or
12, right. We talk a little later. I think it's 6, and 2 tribes had only 5.
And were there any Levites in the group?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll get there. It's another story coming up. Chaf Hey. Hashem descended in the cloud and spoke to Moshe. And he designated greatness for the spirit of prophecy. It was by Moshe. He gave him the 70 elders. And it was when the spirit rested upon them that they prophesied. They prophesied and they did not continue to prophesy. They did not continue. They prophesied only on the day alone. So it said explicitly in Sifri. English translates it, and they did not cease. The power of prophecy did not cease from them. Chav Hey.
Now, can I ask a question? Quick question.
Quick.
All right. You have 70 elders. Did they all have the gift of prophecy then?
I think so.
And then the other 2 were just the 2 that evened out everything for all the tribes.
Well, The other two didn't have prophecy.
Eldad and
They were just-
Medad had it. They went. They exercised their prophecy.
There's a whole story about.
It's in the Torah.
When we get to that story, we'll talk about it. Chaf, we're beginning the story, but the real story of Eldad Medad is further on. Chaf Vav, Vayishar b'nei Shnesh b'machna, and the two men remain in the camp. Here we go. Now you get your story. Okay, good. Vayishar Shnesh b'machna. There were two men remain in the camp. Shem echad Eldad v'shem sheni Medad. One was Eldad, one was Medad. Atanach aleim ruach, and the spirit of prophecy did rest on them. Hein maksuvim, and they were among those that were nominated. But they did not leave the camp to go to the tent of meeting. They prophesied in the camp. What's Rashi saying? Two men remained. From those that were chosen, they felt unworthy. We're not worthy of this position. They were among those who had been written, selected for the Sanhedrin. They're all written down by name, but they were selected by lot. For according to reckoning, 12 tribes is 6 times 12 is 72. So 2 tribes have to only get 5. So Moshe said, no one's going to want to only have 5 prophets from their tribe. Everyone's going to have 6. So Moshe took 72 chits, raffle tickets, and he wrote on the 70th elder, and 2 others he wrote blank. He selected 6 men from each tribe, and this being 72. He said, draw your tickets from the box. Whoever had a marker picked a ticket that said, a chit that said elder, they became an elder. Whatever said blank says Hashem, by way of raffle, does not want you.
And that's Rashi. Rashi said, did he get this from the Midrash or does he make it up? How do you?
So it quotes in the bottom of page 168 what happened. There's a whole other story of what happened I heard about. Maybe I'll tell you later. Rashi says in Gemara on this story, Eldad and Medad were very, very humble. They didn't want to pick a ticket because they didn't want to be chosen because they felt they weren't worthy of prophecy. So they didn't pick a ticket. I guess the other 70 guys either picked the ticket elder or they were just de facto. There were 70. So, okay, maybe there was no tickets picked. Maybe they... Oh, no. I'm sorry. It says here in Rashi, the other 70 did pick it, and 2 among the 70 were blank. But Eldad and Medad didn't partake. So they didn't pick anything. So you have now 68 guys are elders, 2 are blanks, and Eldad and Medad didn't do anything. So God rewarded their humility by letting them have prophecy, letting their ability to prophesy continue. Now, what happened to 2 guys who picked blanks, the 2 imposters, right? Mm-hmm. So I actually, who were they? I remember listening to a class, Dasan and Aviram. Dasan and Aviram were 4 men in Egypt, and they were chosen from their tribe of Reuven, I think, to be elders. But they were unworthy, so they picked blank, but they didn't tell anybody.
Edward G. Robinson.
Edward G. Robinson, exactly. So they were basically imposter elders. Okay, anyways. And these guys were elders, but they were so humble, they didn't want to take part. So they prophesied, but it seemed like they're just pretending because they didn't do the process. So a certain young man ran and told Moshe, Eldad and Medad are prophesizing in the camp. Rashi, a certain young man ran. Some say it was Gershom, the son of Moshe. Interesting, Gershom, Moshe's son. Others say it was Yeshua. But whatever, that's the next thing. Because Yeshua is mentioned next. Moshe ben Nun, Moshe's attendant, and one of his young men responded, one of Moshe's young men said, Yomar, Adoni Moshe Klaim, my Moshe, eliminate them. Rashi. eliminate them. Place upon them responsibility for the affairs of the community. Yeah, let them be. They want to be prophets. Go be prophets. Give them responsibility. They'll be miserable and they're going to be eliminated by their own accord. Because once they take leadership, it's going to be upsetting. When you're upset, there's no prophecy. Another explanation: put them into prison. Since they are prophesying, Moshe's dying, and Joshua will be the one to lead us into Israel. You shouldn't like that. Moshe wasn't decreed yet, but they prophesied. They were right, actually. So Chavtes Moshe said, Moshe said to him, "Are you jealous for me? If only God would make the whole people prophets. That God put his prophecy on them. Are you jealous for me? Is it for my cause? You're jealous that someone's being a competing prophet with me? Li means on my sake. Every time kina means jealousy or vengeance. It denotes a person setting his heart in a matter, either to take vengeance or to assist. Interesting. In Pyramidal, take the thickest part of the load. It says when the owner of a beam is carrying a gigantic beam, we tell the owner, you pick the heaviest part of the beam. It's your beam. So when you get involved in something, you take it really to heart. You're taking like the term kina means you're taking to heart to like do something about it. You're taking like ownership of it. You take ownership for my slight. I'm not slighted.